Hi everyone, my name's Chris, and what I'm going to be going through is how you change a single motor, one of these trucks, to a dual motor. It's really quite simple, however there are some little tips and tricks that I had to work out myself, and I thought I'd save you the time. So first of all, the tools. Drill, doesn't matter whether it's a portable drill or a wired drill, you get given the bit with the kit. Fine nosed posi drive type screwdriver, medium sized flat screwdriver, circuit pliers, ordinary pliers. The hex key comes as part of the kit. 6mm, 8mm spanners, and a nice large hammer. We'll see why we need that a bit later on. Before you start, clean everything off and just have a look at what you've got. It's a very simple axle, a couple of bearings, motor, 2 wheels, and it really is simply put together. So let's see how we change this single motor to a dual motor. So the first thing to do, once you've cleaned it off, you've worked out what's what, is to come around to the control box. So let me take the tools off, and what you will notice, I've already done this, but what you'll notice is that there's a lead coming from the motor. Now that will normally have some sort of connector on it, so just look for that, and that will be normally connected via another connector to the control box. You must identify this lead, the one from the motor and the one from the control box. Don't go around playing with any of the other leads. So disconnect them, and then you'll find out that what we have to do is to cut the connectors off, so that I've already done that. Okay, so you've now disconnected it. This is now free. So the next thing to do then is to push in on the side, on the square part of the little connector thing that's on the side of the wheel here, and pull the wheel off. Comes off nice and easily. You will notice a shear pin sticking out just here. We'll come back to that in a minute. The next thing to think about is that there's this small plate here which is held on with 3 screws. So using your fine nosed screwdriver, excuse me whilst I get in this shot, you just take out the 3 screws, and then that comes off like that. At this point you won't be able to get it past the shear pin. You'll also notice here that there's a collar with a grub screw. So what you've got to do is undo that grub screw, bring it right up, and then probably with a little bit of pushing and pulling, let's just undo that a little bit further, take the grub screw out. You'll probably have to use the Allen key to do that. You've now got to a stage where the collar has come off, and oddly, or it seemed to me to be oddly, there's a ball bearing in there. Make sure you don't lose that ball bearing. Let's now see how far we can get. So what we'll do now is we'll take off the other wheel, push down on the square part of the wheel, off comes the wheel, and again I don't know whether you can see it, but there's another of these shear pins here and another one of the end caps with the 3 screws. So again, undo the 3 screws. You'll probably find it a bit difficult. They'll probably be covered in mud and muck, and you probably won't be able to find the end of the screws easily, but anyway, have a go at it. So now what I'm going to do, I'm lucky in that I know that this shear pin should just pop out. Of course it won't do it now. So I'm just going to get a pair of pliers and pull. Okay, got my trusty pliers. Pull out the shear pin. There we go. Put it into your box bits. I'm going to leave that shear pin in. The next thing I'm going to do is take off the end cap. Put it there, and just in there you will notice a circlip. So that's what's holding the bearing onto the shaft at the right position. So using my trusty circlip pliers, again, sorry I'm in the shot, I'm going to take off the circlip, squeeze it, bring it out and put it in there. I could, if I wanted to do the other end, but in fact I've done everything that I need to do now to enable me to get this off. Remember the ball bearing that's in there. What we need to do now is, sitting at the back of the motor is the motor plate. I've already undone this to some degree, but I'm now going to undo the rest of the bolts. There are 4 of them. Let me just see if I can get this out. So we get the last bolt out. And there we go. And now the motor's hanging free, and there we see the part that holds it in place. Now actually at this point, as soon as we get that ball bearing out, this shaft is free to move. It can't move in this direction because the shear bolt or the shear pin is still there, but it can move in this direction. Now I tend to find that on the couple of times I've done this, that in fact once we've got the ball bearing out, there's nothing holding the shaft to the motor. It's free to move. Almost certainly corrosion and various other things will make this a really sticky operation getting this off. So first of all, let's just get that ball bearing out, which you just tip it out. There's the ball bearing. Hope you can see it there. Right, so with a bit of luck, what we can now do is just pull the shaft, and you can see it's stiff. So it's definitely worthwhile to oil the shaft before you get it off, make it as free as you can. And this is where my handy little hammer comes in, holding this, just tap the shaft, and anything which is stopping it from moving, anything that's making it sticky, you can just shock it out of place. There's the collar that we took from here, and now I can pull, and there's the motor freestanding with its clutch assembly. Put that back like that. That's the main bearing just come out. One of the main bearings just come out at the end. Put that back in a moment. So we're ready to go into actually putting the twin engines on.